he's a local comedian and MC. He works around town at Dead Crow, at Wilmington Wine. He's going to be at Live at Ted, so you'll hear all about some of the things he's doing. But he's a working comedian and MC around town, and he is just really dynamic. I've gone to see him live a couple times at open mics, and it's just, we're lucky to have such a prolific working comedian living here, and it was wonderful to be able to join in on our event. So with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to MT Bottles.
Please give it up to Carrie and Trish and the whole Creative Mornings group. I am so happy that you chose me for your soft speaker. I have definitely used the word flaccid multiple times this morning. Fortunately, I was saying it to a married woman, so she understood. If there are any moms for liberty here, you'll want to leave now. I'm going to say facts, so you might want to run. There's a fire pit outside if you feel the need to burn a book. So there are a lot of white women here, so you got to play to your audience. You never know. But we're here. Y'all will gentrify the shit out of this street, so we're good. We're all good. So we're in an old school fire station. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're doing. So, to make this theme work even more and to make sure that, my manhood is constantly in question, I am soft. My name is Empty Bottles, and I'm a soft comedian. And, people want to try to understand what softness means to me in this regard and what it means in comedy. And I've got a few points I'll make and a couple of things that kind of tie into my story and how I even got here in the first place. Softness as a way to be relatable and accessible. For me, it means a lot because I am not your prototypical, your stereotypical comedian. I didn't come about this because I really wanted to do jokes in front of people all the time. I used to want to be president. That was what my whole plan was. I was going to be a news anchor, and then I was going to run for president. And then I was going to be the first black president. And then Barack Obama stole my whole thunder. Like my whole thing. And I tell people all the time, in 2004, I worked in politics for some time and managed political campaigns, and I was actually helping Hillary Clinton. I was really pushing hard, and I was like, 2008's coming, we're gonna make sure Hillary Clinton is president. I don't care who that dude is from Chicago, but and it was such at the beginning of the, we kind of knew who he was, but we kind of didn't, so it was like, I still got a shot. Maybe he doesn't make it, and I'm still, just in a few years, it'll be me. And then Super Tuesday came, and he just ruined everything for me. And then I had to go and support that great man. Such an ass kicker, but, isn't it great to go from Barack Obama to that? Isn't that's the way it should be? When I say softness as being acceptable and relatable, this is what I mean. This picture is from a series of photos that I took at the end of 2021. So September of 2021, obviously we were still rebounding. We were beginning to rebound. We're starting to recover. And I used to host trivia at a bar downtown for some friends. They paid me $50 a night to host trivia. And throughout the pandemic, obviously, I couldn't do the business that I owned. I used to own a rage room. I couldn't have it open. I couldn't host trivia live. And someone suggested that I host trivia online. And I did that and actually started hosting trivia games for people all over the world. I was making about $1,000 a week at one point. And I'm a single dad with a daughter, so it fed us. When we got to 2021, one of those trivia players in town started working at a bar, and they felt like they needed somebody, so they hired me. I'm hosting trivia at this bar. This random guy one night says to me, "You're really funny. You should think about doing stand-up." And I poo-pooed him. I'm like, no, that's not for me. He said, no. Go to open mic at Dead Crow. You'll be great. And so I went to my first open mic at Dead Crow in September of 2021. I had to do breathing exercises because I was so nervous. I mean, just, terrified. I had a great support system at the time. One of the people who has been the absolute most influential for me in my comedy career, for me to begin, and is even here right now, is my great friend Katie Bonner, who's up front here sitting next to James. Please give her a hand, because I honestly would not be here if it wasn't for her. She was there that night with a group of friends, cheering me on, and I'm about to throw up everywhere. But it went really well. And I did a few of those open mics, and someone saw me, and they said, you know what, you would be great on my show. And they booked me on their show in January of 2022. So I did that show, and I said, wow, it went pretty well. Maybe I can do 30 of these in a year, and if I do, I'll have something. I can keep this going. So in 2022, I actually did 75 paid gigs. I got invited to 2 comedy festivals. And I actually ended up doing my own shows that year, including the Supper Club, which I'm still doing today. And that's when my career took off. So this picture is representative. I took this photo as a way to try to promote myself, naked in my bedroom with my daughter's Disney fantasy hat on. And that actually was the first merch I ever made. I made holiday cards with that on there. That's not a joke, that really happened. Because though I may be big and soft, I still like to sell my body. It's still a moneymaker for me, although my ex-wife would certainly disagree with that, but she ain't so hot herself now. So anyway, this isn't about her, I promise. This is not about her at all. But I did this also because you saw it was a trend. People were putting the signs up and, vote for me or donate to this or that kind of thing. And I wanted to be noticed. I wanted to try to cut through, but I wanted people to see, A, who I really was. And that's, again, why there's so much skin. But also, I wanted to be relatable. I wanted people to see that this just random big dude who clearly needs sleep and a facial, I'm out there doing what I can to be noticed and to be a part of this, gig economy, to stand alone. And that was what I was really trying to attempt. And who would have thought I did that in my own way? And that's kind of what got me going. This was a major piece that really made me stand out, and people started taking notice of some of my comedic efforts. But I really wanted more. I told you I wanted to be president, but more than anything, I really wanted to change the world. And the world has changed. However you may feel about it, it has dramatically changed, and it changes every single minute now. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of something that affects it in a most positive way, and what I believe to be the most positive way, and what I believe to be the right way. So we move on. Softness as a weapon against toxicity and dishonesty. Let me put the picture up first. Okay. Okay, all right, okay. Said there are a lot of women here. I'm trying to throw a net out and pull something in. Your awes are nice, but I prefer all right, woo. That would be a little more appropriate. I get it's 8:30 in the morning, but okay. I do appreciate that, but once again, I bring the word flaccid back, so thank you for that. This picture was taken, I did a show in West Hartford, Connecticut. This is the Elbow Room in West Hartford, Connecticut, earlier this year. And this was a big thing for me. It was my first Northeast run, if you're unfamiliar with that term, a run, so to speak. It's a number of gigs right in a row in a particular area. I was in Philadelphia, I was in Connecticut, I was in New York. First time doing it, and it was incredible. I was by myself. I rode the Amtrak. I rode the Peter Pan bus, for you Northeasterners who know what the Peter Pan bus is. That was my first time. I rode the Peter Pan bus with a Gatorade and a meatball sub. It was awesome. Got to listen to a lot of arguments in different languages, a lot of threats to the bus driver in different languages. And it was all material. It always is. And it was absolutely wonderful. It was one of the best experiences of my life. But this particular shot, the reason this is important, I look joyful and happy right here. What's actually happening is I am criticizing a comic that came on before me who essentially espoused nothing but hate speech. And it was really surprising. You see a lot of comedians nowadays who they want to be edgy or whatever the case may be, or they have an agenda, and there are a lot of that do. People in general have a lot of agendas. But a lot of comedians try to use that platform because they have their own negative agenda. And the person before me, before the show, was completely cool, very nice, very respectful. Comedians were supposed to be kind of a part of this this fraternal kind of environment where if we come from out of town, we meet each other. There's a way of doing things. You shake hands, you say hello, you talk about your scene versus theirs, and that's what happened. When the show started, this guy just went off on a complete tangent about women and men who he didn't feel should be in this world espousing what he deemed left-leaning views. He went off on our trans friends. He went off on people of different faiths. And I was sitting there shocked because, number one, I'm in the Northeast. I'm always thinking the Northeast, wow, this is the most liberal place I should be, especially New England. And also, this person was Puerto Rican. So I'm like, okay, wow, you were talking about a lot of things that I did not see coming from out of your mouth. And it was shocking, and it was just so hateful, and I could not let that stand. I mean, I was invited to do this show. I'm from North Carolina, from out of town. I only know one person there, and that was the person who booked it. But I wasn't going to let that moment pass for someone to be allowed to say those things unchecked. It wasn't going to happen. And it wasn't going to happen. Now, side note, things I forgot about Connecticut. I was in West Hartford. Is there anyone here from New England or Connecticut? Don't be afraid. Wow, I'm in a room full of white people in North Carolina right now. No one's from New England. This is awesome. Oh, I see it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it was impossible. Yeah. I scoped you out from the beginning. You read books and shit. I know who you are. Yeah. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. My ex-wife was from Connecticut.
I'm not from Connecticut.
Where are you from?
Massachusetts.
What part? What part?
Cape Cod.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I've got friends from Danvers. I got friends from North Shore, Gloucester. How y'all say it up there? Yeah, y'all don't say y'all. I know that area very well. Thank you for being here. It's important that we have someone who comes from a state that's relatable in this country right now. We could take cues from your people up there. I wanted to make sure that little symbol on my head, which is for UNC, but for me, I am a proud North Carolinian, born and raised here, very proud. And from where I came from and what I'm known for and what we're known for in this state, I wanted to make sure I put that on that stage. And that was highly important to me. West Hartford is an incredibly wealthy area. I did not know that. I thought I was going to be performing in East Hartford. You hear those little laughs? East Hartford is not West Hartford. East Hartford, there are a lot more people who look like me. I actually had a job interview at a nonprofit years ago in East Hartford where I walked down the street in a suit and people were looking at me like, we're gonna rob him. But he ain't, I see those shoes, he ain't got no money, leave him alone. That was what I experienced. So I thought I was going to East Hartford. So I'm standing outside this room in that. I also had a Seagate Bottle Shop hoodie on, and I'm just chilling, And then I realized it looked like a live action Land's End catalog, just walking past me every which. Land's End is a high-end clothier, sir. I'll pull it up on the phone in a minute, bro. And that's the way, and then people are pulling their kids closer and walking past, and I'm like, I don't understand. Just because I'm drinking a mini bottle of whiskey right now doesn't mean there's anything to be afraid of in this moment. But that's what West Hartford was. So that was how the show began, and that was what I had to deal with. And I knew that was my moment to make sure that I didn't care about laughs at that moment. I just cared about what I had to say and hope they would too. So there's actually, on my Instagram, there's like a little bit from that where as soon as I get on stage, they see the North Carolina and someone says, woo, South Carolina. And I curse them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm from Tryon, North Carolina, right on the border of South Carolina, near the upstate of Spartanburg and Greenville, if you guys know that area. I hate South Carolina. All right. One of our football rivals in high school was a South Carolina team. I go across the border just to urinate. That's how I feel about South Carolina. It has nothing to do with the amount of tickets I've received there, if I'm even allowed to be in that state legally. It's a whole other thing. I shouldn't even gotten into that. I'm sorry. But that's what that was about. I wanted to make sure that I'm using my comedy to make sure that the words that need to be spoken in those spaces in those perspectives that need to be shared in those spaces are shared. Those words are spoken. It might not be for everybody, but I don't care. If I felt it was the right thing, and I really, really believe in doing the right thing, and that had to be done that day. So that was important. Now, softness as a uniting conduit that allows for transparent discourse. Now, make sure you all get that in. Let's taco meat on the chest, little belly popping out underneath, and then random business ties, nothing really exciting on the microphone, a la Steven Tyler, but his are much more pretty, and they are not ties that I wore at Wells Fargo at one time. That is not what that is. But this picture evokes a lot of emotion for a lot of different people, and I know this. This was my show last year at Reggie's. It was promoting that show. I do not play the guitar, and especially not the bass guitar, and I don't typically need a bottle to drink anything. But it evokes a lot of emotions because of that American-esque look on the bottle, the stars and the stripes. And I say that because there was a person who saw that online. I don't know the person. I do know that she was black. And she commented, she was like, "You maggot idiot, can't believe you would bow down to this regime and put yourself out there." She simply said that because she saw that bottle. And that was, at first, a little heartbreaking, but then absolutely hilarious. I used to work for Verizon, and chances are some of you, or at least one of you in this room, also has worked for Verizon. And I worked in a department where, bye, Saj. It was good seeing you. Everybody give Saj a hand. Good seeing you, brother. Hell yeah. I don't know him. I just met him today. He told me he was going to leave in the middle, and he even gave me his name. So I don't know why anyone thought that was a wise choice for a person who loves to talk on the microphone and gets highly offended when people leave when they're speaking. Not to dissuade any of you from doing the same. You look like you might leave at any moment, but you're a part of this group now, so you can't go nowhere. So it's excellent. But no, she was very upset. And when I was at Verizon on the phone one time, I worked with customers who were typically 60 to 120 days late on their bill. Not a super happy job. People not real pleased to talk to me. And we go round and round about her bill, and I'm trying to help her out, and she was like, "You know what? Forget you cracker," and hung the phone up. And in a moment, the only thing I could think to say as she was hanging the phone up, "But I'm black." It was like, click, So, I didn't know what to do or what to say. And I kind of had that same feeling when this popped up, but it was so funny because she felt a certain way. She thought by just looking at this that I am, and Uncle Tom, I'm this person who is betraying my skin color and what she believes that's supposed to mean. And that's not at all what I was trying to do or evoke. I didn't want to evoke emotion. I just didn't know I'd get that. I thought, women would think it was hot, and they'd be like, "Hell yeah," But like the regular women who go to dive bars, like I want coat of arms women with leather, and coat of arms is a bar that's on Wrightsville Avenue. Y'all know where it's at, but y'all acting like you don't. So that's good, that's cool. I see it's early, we all straight on that. But that's what I wanted, someone I was gonna call my old lady. I thought they would say, "Damn, that's hot. I want to come to that show." That's what I wanted, and instead I got that emotion. But that also allows us to open up to talk about things. Let's be vulnerable about it. Let's chat about why you feel that way. The American flag has been co-opted so many times, and I don't feel that way. I still do love America. I very much love America, and I believe in what we're about. And that was really what I was trying to say. I wanted people to know that, I'm black in America. It hadn't been the greatest time for people who look like me over the course of several hundred years. My family dates back to West Africa, and we've been able to trace that back. But we were able to do that because of the tools that were given to us, that we earned. My great-great-grandfather built a church in Newberry, South Carolina after he freed himself from slavery. I know that history because of my family, because of what we've been able to build and learn about each other, and I love sharing that with the world. I want everyone to be able to do that. There's so many people who have no idea what their real history is. And it's important that we do. And I try to make sure that comes out in my comedy all the time. Now, I talk a lot about a lot of sexual things because I'm a sexual person. That was a really heavy laugh by JJ. Then the gentleman in the back with a button down. Yes, thank you for that. Always great being cheered on with people who have sunglasses wrapped around their neck, hanging in the back. They're good here and the golf course. But no, I like to talk about things that are real for me. I like to talk about race because I'm a little bit different. I wear my hat like Haji a lot of times, and Haji, if you guys know Haji pajamas.
He was our July speaker.
Yes. Did you know Haji Pajamas before I said that name? Okay, good, thank God. That's why you're laughing, and not simply because his name is Haji Pajamas, which in itself is hilarious. Imagine how I felt when I first met him. This is Haji Pajamas, what the? But no, we're different kind of cats, and I'm from the mountains of North Carolina. There are not a lot of people who are like me, and I love it out here. Where are you from, the mountains? Oh, you're one of those mountain people. Ugh, all right. I got that in a gas station one time from someone else who was black. I'm like, what's that even mean? Sorry, another personal tangent, I apologize. But no, it's really, really important for me to be in these different spaces and to make sure that I am being soft to allow for that type of discourse. We can be vulnerable. Let's talk about the hardest things possible. It's so important that we do that. But do it in the most respectful and kind way. We can all be kind. We can all be honest. These are choices that we make. We can choose to be soft and allow for different opinions, and we can share those opinions softly. It's a very, very hard world, and it's a very hard time to be honest and to be vulnerable. I attempt to do that every time I set foot on stage. That's my whole goal, and I love it when other people join me in that. When other people can get in front of others, can use their platform to talk about things that are personal to them, that they think are right, but also folks who are willing to accept that there are other opinions. We like to think that there are just two sides to everything. And that's not exactly true. There are so many different perspectives. So many different people have way different experiences than others. It's so important that we allow ourselves to understand that, be open to that. And that is what my main goal is every time I set foot on stage. And anytime I'm not on stage, I still have these same conversations. I still bring these same things up because it's super, super important to me. And I really hope that's where we begin to really lean towards. That's where we start going. That's really, really important for me. So, with that said, now that you've enjoyed all these wonderful pictures and pieces of me, let me share these things with you because I'm a born promoter and businessman. If you're not doing anything tomorrow night, come on over to Wilmington Wine. I've got 5 tickets left for the supper club. There's a 3-course Korean barbecue meal, and then we've got comedians coming from out of town, and then you get to see my big ass head there. And then I'm also at Live at Ted's on December 5th. That's my birthday show. So if you want to come celebrate with me, hell yeah, you come do that. Now, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Give it to me. What's up?
Softness versus sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you connect with your audience through softness? Do you feel like it's always received?
No.
How do you change yourself, or do you stay authentic in that situation?
I'm going to stay authentic, but I'm going to use whatever tool I have available to me. And for me, so I grew up in the church, and I was raised to be a preacher. So I've done a lot of public speaking in that realm, but also in life. And so you have to think really quick on your feet, especially if your words are not hitting the way you want them to. It took me a while to realize I have that natural thing where it's like, I'm giving you a sermon, but you're not responding the way I need you to respond. I'm not getting enough amens, okay? And I had to figure out later in life, like, oh, I automatically understand that, and I need to evoke something. So if I'm not hitting the way I need to hit, then I need to change it up. I mean, there are a lot of ladies in here. Sorry, bro, but if we're not getting to the spot, we gotta figure something out. You know what I mean? I ain't wrong. I know this. I've reached it. I know it. And there's a benefit to that. You've got to make sure that clearly you have as well. Look how confident you are in your masculinity. Don't look at him right now. Look at me. No. That dude is way too hot for y'all to just be like, oh, who the fuck is? No. Literally just told y'all I could give somebody an orgasm. Y'all looking back at him. Anyway, you got a comedian up here. I don't know what you were expecting. It's a Friday, not a Sunday. No, but I try to make sure, and I'll give you a prime example. I was at Dead Crow a year ago, actually, this happened, and there was a lady, it was three of them. It was a lady, her significant other, and another guy. They had never been to a comedy show before, but they'd seen them on TV and in movies. They sat up front, and they would not shut up. And I mean like talking loudly and then trying to end punchlines. And so my blood is boiling, but now I've got the microphone, so I'm going to ruin you. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to let you know this is how I eat. This is how we all eat up here. You should not mess with this. And so it was on and on. So I use that to make sure she gets the point, but also to make sure the rest of the crowd understands, A, I'm not to be played with, but B, this is my space, my area to perform. It's a performance. Respect the performance. So, yeah, I use it all. Of course. Thank you for asking. Yes, Trish.
Can you tell us your best dad joke?
If anyone really knows me, they know what's about to happen. So, Trish, I'm not going to tell you a dad joke. We sold no tickets in here. I tell jokes for a living, Trish. I don't just give you the humor for free right now. I did not see you log on and buy a supper club ticket just now. Now, I will say, and this, I'm glad you said that because it brings me to the point of it's so funny as a comedian. I'll get in an Uber. What do you do? A comedian. Oh, tell me a joke. No. If it was that easy, every OnlyFans actor that I see, I'd be like, you know where I'm going with that. Anyway, some people like feet. Look, it's not that I'm trying to dish you automatically, Trish. You led me down the exact right path. And I'm hoping you did it on purpose, but I don't think you did. You really wanted a dad joke. And not for me to bring up OnlyFans in this moment. I'm so sorry if some of you run nonprofits and you signed up for this today. You're like, your eyes are so wide right now, ma'am. I'm so sorry. You look like you're appalled, but I hope not. Are you appalled right now? No, not you, the one in front with the dark hair. Yes, you. Are you good to go?
I'm far from appalled.
Oh, excellent, okay.
I caught that orgasm comment.
Oh, I know. Should not have had that much coffee. No, but it's really, Trish, I appreciate you asking that question. I just don't typically give you a little joke when you ask. It gives me the opportunity to ridicule you. And that's more fun for me in that moment. So I hope you enjoyed that. They all did. So, thanks. Does anyone else have a not foolish question? What?
So you were saying that you use the comedy to start a conversation. What's one of your best conversations that have occurred after?
That was smooth. That was smooth. See how she did that, Trish? That was cool. I do one particular joke about my daughter. And I will tell you this joke. Because I don't learn from the best up here, This lady's got 2 sets of glasses on her head, She's here to get shit done, okay? I'm so sorry, Mom. I hope this is not too much for you. You're Carrie's mom, so I know you've already seen some shit. I tell a joke, and it goes like this. I have a daughter. She is amazing. This is all true. She's 8 years old. She's about that tall. Yeah? About that tall? Yeah. Growing like a weed. Just amazing. And I'm raising her to be independent. And I want her to be I want her to say whatever's on her mind, and I want her to be the strongest person ever. And we hopefully all want that for our children. She was born with a dairy allergy. And as parents, we know when your child has anything, we want to make sure they're getting what they need, but also we want to make sure the things that may hurt them stay out of their lives, stay out of their bodies. It's more concerning for me because I'm afraid that dairy allergy has turned her into a racist. My daughter came to me recently. She said, "Daddy, I want to be white like mommy." I said, "Baby, why?" She said, "Because chocolate is yucky and it makes me sick." I know. So now I have to be concerned. My daughter may try to lynch me. Thank God President Biden signed the anti-lynching law into effect. I went to Office Depot, printed it off in large print. I went to Hobby Lobby, because that's where they go. I got a nice frame for it, put it on her wall over her Blue Lives Matter stickers. And I said, "Look, baby, you get jail time if you fuck with Daddy now." Now, you may see where there's some parts in there, conversation can get started. Let alone the fact I've had multiple people, women, all women, and I say that specifically because two of them were women I was trying to date, hated that I brought my daughter up. Couldn't stand it. Didn't understand why I would ever, A, bring my daughter up in a joke, B, bring my daughter up in a joke that's like that. My child is very smart. My child is very vocal, and she has opinions. She has thoughts. That was something that was so striking when she said that to me. It was mind-blowing because I knew at some point I would have to have a conversation with this multiracial child about her life, about what she looks like and who she is in the world and who she's going to be. And that's why I tell that joke, because half of her comes from a very different world than what I know and what I grew up in. She came from half of her, 50% of her comes from a much more privileged world, a much more affluent world, and it's a very different thing with me. She can ride on private jets in that world. When I was a kid, we were excited there was a Burger King in the town we're going to because we didn't have those in Polk County. So that's a very different lifestyle, and I hope that it gets people talking about not only their children and the things that they bring up in conversation, the things they want to know about, but also to understand that the things I talk about with the Blue Lives Matters and what that represents in our world and race in general, and also having a multiracial child, all of those things I want to discuss. I want to talk about that, and that's why I bring them up. I have a perspective that a lot of people don't have. They don't have multiracial children, especially in the rooms I play. Where I perform, even right now, there are not a lot of people that look like me. There is no one in here that looks like me. But it's important that you know who I am and what I'm about. I'm going to do it if I'm in this room, if I'm at the Sportsman's Club on Castle, doesn't matter. Sportsman's Club, a lot of black folks. In case y'all didn't know that. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be me. And I want you to know about my family and about my daughter. If you knew my daughter, also she loves that joke. She thinks it's funny. She likes anytime I talk about her. But that's why that's important for me. That joke I love saying it to see the reactions from some people. Some people just can't believe I said that, but it's me. It's my family. It's me. It's who I am. It's what we're all about. And love it or leave it, that's who I am. That's what I'm about. Anybody else?
It seems like Wilmington has a pretty robust comedy culture. I was kind of surprised to see a lot of comedians. How does it compare to some of the other cities that you've traveled to?
Okay, so I'm gonna put this down. Just like messing with that remote over and over. Typically I have an oral fixation, not that. Another little something there. Wide net, Trish, throwing out a wide net. When I got into the scene, it was very different than it is now. A lot of that has to do with Austin, Texas. all the testosterone that runs through Austin, Texas. If you know anything about Austin, they've deemed it the new comedy capital of the world because of a man who will go unnamed, who helped to ruin 2024. And now says, I didn't know that was going to happen. Anyway, sorry. You're not supposed to do that as a comedian, but those times have changed. When I first started this scene, Wills Maxwell, I saw him before I got into comedy. I loved him. Brian Granger. These are people who are from Wilmington who are incredibly funny and who've done a lot of big things. I saw them before I started doing comedy and was just like, wow, these are amazing people. When I got into the scene, those were my mentors. Lou Morganti, Louis Bishop. Amazing comedians who had this incredible perspectives, and I really appreciated and loved every bit of it. And those were folks who put me on shows, they taught me things, and led me down the right path. I am now in that role, but it's very weird because there are far fewer women who are in comedy now, and that hurts me. I grew up on Rita Rudner and Paula Poundstone and Whoopi Goldberg. These are people that molded me when I was a kid. I used to go to school and quote Paula Poundstone, which was super weird for a lot of people, but I didn't care. You know, I used to quote Ellen DeGeneres all the time before she apparently turned out to be an incredibly angry person. But I still loved her, you know, but the scene has changed a lot here. It's not as familial as it was, but there are some of us who are trying to bring that back. Now, in comparison to other places, it can be incredibly cutthroat and political in other places. In entertainment in general, in any business, it can be incredibly cutthroat. Comedy, they want stage time. But also people think that they go viral with one clip and they're a star. They've seen it happen and they think that's gonna be them. So we have comedians who get up on open mics and try to say the most provocative things about Gaza they know nothing about. They try to say the most provocative things about ICE or immigration. They know nothing about policy. They just want to say these things because either A, it's their personal feelings and they want those out there so bad and they just want you to hear it. You need to hear it. You need to hear how angry I am. But also I'm an idiot and I have no idea what I'm talking about. There's so much of that. And that in itself just keeps evoking this just, it's a crabs in a barrel thing, but it's also let's eat each other. Let's eat each other's young. And let's just make sure none of us succeed. And there's a lot of that negativity and hatred. Other scenes, it's really potent. Really, really potent. It's rare I go to other places and it's just all love. That's not the way it is in most places. And that's what makes it really sad. When I go to places, I really try to make sure I bring that love. I want you to know it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy I get to do this in your environment, in your space. And whether that's reciprocated or not, that's not up to me. But I'm still going to keep bringing it. But every scene is different. Charlotte, very different than Raleigh. Raleigh, they consider themselves, you know, kind of they have Charlie Goodnights, which is a corporate club now owned by Helium. You can see Helium on YouTube. They have their own channel. They have their own XM station. There's an Improv in Raleigh, which you all know the Improv, New York, that's a company. Charlotte has the Comedy Zone. There's one of those in Greensboro. Big business. Comedy now is everywhere. It's in restaurants and bars and breweries. There's a reason for that because it cuts through. But that also means there are a lot of people who are involved in that who are saying things that maybe shouldn't cut through. Maybe those things shouldn't be out there like that. And even if they are, we can accept it and we can allow it. But a lot of those things we just can't let stand unchecked, and we have to be aware of that as well. So, you had a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, what's been like your favorite, like venue or place or city you've like been able to perform at?
My favorite club of all time will always be Dead Crow. Dead Crow is its home, and I feel absolutely most comfortable on that stage. Now, having said that, I performed at Comics Roadhouse in Mohegan Sun Casino a couple of years ago. And it was a 400-seat comedy theater with all of the accoutrement, with lights and a clock that counts you down and tells you to get the hell off the stage, and a DJ that plays music, and just all of these people who are here to see me. And it was a short set, but oh my God. It felt so good to like see a completely strange person from somewhere completely different who had no idea who I was, and they are laughing at my jokes. Oh. And then there's like 398 more of them just out there, just doing that right there. Like that's the best. That was really, really cool. Also, there was a spot in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Comedy Corner Underground. And that was special because I got to go, my nephew lives there. He worked for Kamala last year and he's built this incredible life for himself there. And it was great to do, my family does not think I'm funny. So they don't do that. They don't do that guffaw. And it was so great to actually like let my nephew see what I do. And he was so proud. He brought a camera and a microphone he put on me. And he's like, I can't wait to do this, Uncle, let's do this. And he was pumping me up so much. And then I went on stage and talked 5 minutes about how everyone in Minnesota at that bar thought I was the door guy because I was large and I was black. And that's what, I was like standing outside chilling. They were just handing me their ID without me. So then naturally I just started saying, it's $10 tonight. I only have a 20. I got my Venmo right here. Let's go ahead and scan that. That's the bar Venmo. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It says Travis on. Don't worry about the name on there. Just go ahead and put that money in there, motherfucker. Yeah. No, those are my favorite though. For real. Anybody else?
First of all, same thing happened to me at Burger Street one time. Big dude.
Yep, you know how it goes. Yeah.
They were like, no, that's not me. They were like, what do you mean? Okay, cool. Whatever.
R.I.P. Burger Street.
But open mic goes.
Ooh.
I have my favorite open mic story where someone either bombed or was successful, whatever. You got your favorite open mic story?
I'll make this the last one because I know those chairs are uncomfortable after you've been sitting there for a long time. I mean, you know, some of us got more cushion than others, you know what I mean? My favorite open mic story, actually, yeah. So I'm at an open mic. This is also in Connecticut. Before the show starts, there's a guy who's walking around. It's Connecticut. It's in a very urban area. Well, Mohegan Sun's not, but it's near Hartford, urban area. There's a guy walking around handing out business cards for a barber shop. This is not unusual in those types of areas. Everyone's an entrepreneur. Everyone's a hustler. I had no problem with it. I didn't know this is also a comedian. He gets on stage, and he had 5 minutes, I think. And they're very strict about time. You do your 5 and get off the stage. There's a clock, there's a light, the whole nine. Music plays. And he was a year sober, which was wonderful, and I was very happy for him. But he chose that moment to talk about his sobriety, but then to talk about all of the people who never supported him in his journey to sobriety. The problem with that was that all those people were there to see him that night. He brought like 40 people on the expectation, like, Chad's doing comedy, it's gonna be great, let's support him. And then he lays into every single person down the line, except for his dad, who he celebrates, and his dad's like, yeah, tell him, son, hell yeah. I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm sitting there, this is a guy who was trying to get his business off the ground, and he is putting his belt to ass on everyone in here because they did not help him get sober. And look what I am now. On the stage, an open mic comedian yelling at people. It was incredible. Thank God it was not my show that I hosted. They played the music, he wouldn't get off the stage. They flashed the lights, he wouldn't get off the stage. The host had to go up and snatch the mic away from him. Yeah, I am so curious as to what that ride home was like. Clearly he was more East Hartford than West Hartford. My name's,
My question is, tell us about your ongoing things at Wilmington and Castle Street.
Yeah. Speaking of hustlers and entrepreneurs, I host trivia every other Monday at Castle Street Kitchen. If you're unfamiliar, it's delicious, it's wonderful. Heather runs an incredible business. It's socially conscious, the whole nine. I love it over there. Wilmington Wine, I run a monthly open mic there, which you are all welcome to come and watch. We have an incredible crowd that loves comedy, and then I bring comics from all over the state. They come in for that. They give you 5 minutes of their best or newest stuff. You saw on the screen, I've got the Supper Club there. We'll start doing that more often. That's our first one here at Wilmington Wine. We've literally got 5 tickets left as of an hour ago. I'm at Seagate Bottle Shop every Tuesday. I host trivia there. I host trivia every other Monday at Club Golf Indoor over in River Lights. Please, somebody come there that's not from River Lights. Please. They're great. It's not like they're terrible landfall folks. I'm just joking. At least 3 of you are from landfall. But I don't see any upside down pineapple pins on you either, so who knows? You want to find them, just to see who's who. I don't know. But no, I do that there, and then every Wednesday I'm at Dramtree Tavern. I host trivia there. So no matter what night of the week, for the most part, I am somewhere entertaining someone and regretting many life choices. So feel free to please come see me. If you saw me here and you see me there, come say hello. You'll still get the same person. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank Empty Bottles.
Thank you for having me.
A little preview of November. We're going to be at Acme Studios with James Farley, another photographer, and he does tintype photography with it. His studio is called Studio Australis, and he's Australian. But this is a wonderful type of developing technology, very, very old school, very ancient, and he's wonderful at it, and that will be November 14th. So stay tuned for information about that, and have a good time with